All right, guys, we got an intern in the shop tonight. Let's show you what we got. All right, so tonight's intern is Bridger. Woo! Bridger is currently taking high school shop class, and we have an agreement that if he doesn't ace that class, then I get to drop a ball of hot metal down his butt crack. So I guess he's got to ace it. I don't think he'll have any problem. Tonight what we're going to do is, I've had some steel sitting over in the corner for quite a while, left over from a project. There's been numerous projects that I've done where I needed some sawhorses. Pretty much every other job I've been at, I've had a set of steel sawhorses. I think it's a good project for Bridger to kind of take the lead on. He's going to have to cut and cope the tube with a torch. He'll have to fit them up according to our drawing here on the table, and he'll have to weld them out. We're going to have to build 8 A-frames, and then we'll tie those together with our top rail, which is a piece of rec tube. It's 3x6 rec tube. All of this is quarter wall. I'll show you guys what my plan is for the design, but I think it's going to be a good project for Bridger to get a little bit of practice. And it's not going to a customer. So I'll give you guys a look at this drawing and we'll go over what my plan is. All right, so hopefully you can see the drawing okay there. So we've got our A-frame here. So with the way I've laid this out, Bridger's gonna have to cut our 4-inch square tube. So it's 4x4 square tube, quarter wall for the legs. He'll have to cut this base angle. We will have a piece of tube tying the legs together. So we're gonna go over, we'll get the tube in the saw, and we'll start cutting our lengths. Now these legs, I think if we go 32 inches, they'll be just perfect. We'll go over and get it loaded up in the saw, start cutting the tube. When you tack stuff, you got to think about where you should tack it first. If you don't, usually something ends up pulling and it'll pull it all out of square and pull your angles all out and jack you up. So on this one, I would tack it here first because you got support here. So put a tack here. Okay. So now bounce over here and do these 2 outside tacks. You don't have to, with this wire, with dual shield wire, you don't have to clip it. You can just bend it and it will break. So bounce after you get that one over to the other side. Okay, so that should pretty much hold it in place. Now, I would get a few more tacks on it. Put a couple down here, holding this other side. So when you do these, just hit it like your stick out's a little long, get a little closer. So you have enough pieces once we cut that one to build one sawhorse tonight. So we've got a piece of 3x6 rec tube that we're going to use for our top rail. Now the reason that I want to do that, I could use I-beam, I could use square tube, I can use a rec tube. There's all kinds of stuff you can use. I want to use that rec tube for two reasons. For one, it's extra, it's just some drops that I have left over from another job. Two, I like that my forks on my forklift slip into it perfect. So when you're moving these around, they're heavy enough that it's nice when you can just slide the forks in them, pick them up, and move them around wherever you need to. So that's why we're going to build this design. So now we're going to go ahead and lay out our marks for our rec tube on the top, our cope marks so that our 3x6 tube can drop in the top of this, and you guys will see what I mean once we get this welded out and Bridger starts cutting. Is that 3x6? Look at that, we got ourselves a thinker. So this is one of the reasons I save little drops like this. So we can just set this right here, right where we want it. And then we'll be able to just go ahead and trace this. I think what I want to do to make sure it's level, grab a torpedo level. I'm going to set this on the table. Okay. So now, we can lay this back down. All right, so you can see we've taken our little drop piece here. We set that on there level. We drew our soapstone around the outside edge so we know right where to cut. So now Bridger's going to bring the torch over. So Bridger's going to use the oxyacetylene torch for practice, and he's going to cope this. The easy way, instead of screwing around, I mean, you'll get to the point where you're familiar enough that it's just second nature. You know which one's which. Your acetylene is always this side. But you can look at the hoses, and this one's red. So red's your fuel. Green is your oxygen. This one, I just always leave it open because you got your adjustment here. So you crack this, light it, and then adjust. You're gonna want your glasses on so that you can adjust it. Ready? Okay, now open this more slowly. And what I'll do is I'll open it until the flame starts to jump. So keep opening it. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, see how it's starting to jump? Okay, so I'll stop right there and now fine tune that. Keep going. Okay. Okay. So see how there's that cone? You want to go until that sucks in like that. You don't want to go too much. See how it's sucking those small cones back in there? That's too much. You want it to where that cone, that big cone right there, goes just in there. Then pull the trigger. See how you're getting that's fluttering right there at the end? So now I want to turn it up just a little bit more. Boom. See that? Yeah. And then you'll be able to see, if you look at this big long cone, that's how you know you got a clean tip. If your torch tip's dirty, this is not going to be that long. And when you push this, you'll see a center cone in the middle of this. See it? That's the oxygen. That's what actually cuts. So I would do this one, and I would rest my elbow here and get comfortable and cut this one. Just cut this half.
Oh, this half.
Are you comfortable? Okay, so you want to preheat it first. You know this? Have you done this?
No, I'm not.
Oh, then let me show you how to do it. Okay, I'll do this one. You ready? So you preheat it first. You've bumped this. See how small those cones are? That's how you know you bumped it. Okay, so you want to preheat it first. So you'll just hold it here until it starts to glow. Usually what I'll do is I'll get myself positioned so that I know I can travel the whole distance. Okay? And then fire in the hole. Okay, and that came out perfect because we know we've got to carve this corner off, right? So when I do the corner like that, I'll turn my torch head like this. See that? Okay, so now you do this one. You need to get closer to your line. Can you see your line?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, move your head to where you can see the line. Okay, and you don't want to dip your freaking torch in there. You want it about this far away. Okay?
Am I close enough?
Yeah. Okay, you're way too close. You want to keep your cones off the material because you're going to dirty your torch if you do that.
Is that far away enough?
Yep. Lift it up. Lift it up. There you go. Come down just a hair. Right there, right there. That's where you want to be, right there. Lift it up just a hair. Okay. Okay. Good job. I'd say for your first time, that was pretty good. Now, let's, well, you can check here. You can see by the time you grind that, I think you're going to be good. So we'll roll it over. Till it starts jumping. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, see it start jump? Okay, now hit your button, or hit your lever. Okay, now see how it's just a little hairy looking on the end? There, now hit it. Okay, you're good. Okay, remember, you don't want those 6 cones to touch. You want them just off the material.
Like right there?
And be a little tighter to your line, like right there. Go ahead. Lift them up, lift them up. There. Whoa. Get closer to your line. Lift them up, lift them up. Lift them up, lift them up.
That was rough.
Let me clean it up. That's all right. Rome wasn't built in a day. Now come do this other side. Hit it. You're way hot. Hit it. Lift them up. Lift them up. That's looking okay. Come down a little. Watch your mark. Come down a little. Come down a little. Come down a little. Okay. All right, you can see here. Just like this. I'll weld the first one up. I want you to watch me do it. This dual shield runs different than solid wire. So it runs a lot more smooth. It's a lot more fluid. And with gap like this, you're probably gonna have to run it in 2 passes. Okay. So I'll run this one because this is a tougher one. So watch me run this one. Yeah, that's a lot of gap. So here's what we'll do. We're going to trigger this to fill up the gap. See how I'm bouncing back and forth? You know why I'm doing that?
You give the material time to cool because if you just
It'll just blow out. Yep. Good. Okay, so you got to remember to be slow enough with this. You got to give it time to fill in.
Okay.
So don't be in a hurry. Okay?
Okay.
Push. Get your stick out. It's way too far. Closer. There you go.
That was way too fast.
Way too fast.
I was like,
And I knew that's what you'd do because that's typical. That's usually what people do. It's not terrible, but it was fast. So that was Bridger's pass. It's not terrible, but it's definitely not filled in like that. So that's just time under the hood is all that is. I'll tell you what I like about it. It's consistent. What'd you do?
burn the living shiz out of my finger.
That's why you got in a hurry, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't until like right there till I noticed it, but I just had to keep going.
You got your hand too close?
Yeah. I put it like too close to the top.
This is how I put my hands.
Okay.
Don't put your hand up here. This stuff burns hot. So just the heat coming off the weld is enough to burn the back of your hand.
Okay.
You want to keep your hand back here. See how I'm going a lot slower?
Mm.
All right, guys, so we got a whole bunch of stuff going on in the shop today. Had a couple signs to cut out. Had some post caps to cut. Bridger's back on our sawhorses, and that's what I'm doing now too. So I'm just getting our pieces cut here. I did have to pick up one more length of tube, and I'll show you what he's up to over here. So he's getting this tube beveled so that we can splice it together. So this is another thing that's really good practice for him because he's learning how to bevel with the grinder. He's going to learn how to tack these up and weld them out so that they're in line, which can be tricky sometimes. So some more good stuff for him to learn. So that's what we're up to. I just wanted to give you guys an update. Once we get to the point where we're fitting these up, we'll come back and give you guys a look. You can see we've got two of our A-frames built. They're ready for the top piece to be tacked up and welded out, which is what Bridger's working on now. So we'll get that done, and then we'll give you guys an update once we're to the point where we're ready to fit those up. All right, guys, so quick update on splicing our tube. So we got our two pieces of tube here. We got them set on the table. We've checked the top to make sure that it is flush. We've taken a piece of channel here. You can use anything, a piece of angle, a piece of channel, something that's nice and straight. We've got it clamped to the side of our tube, and that's going to hold it straight while we tack the corners. So we'll tack what we can, this one, and this one, and then we'll roll it, tack the other corner, and then it will be tacked in place to where we can weld it. When I weld something like this, I like to weld the sides first. That helps keep it from warping this way. It's more likely to warp if you weld these first, so I like to hit the sides first. So that's what Bridger's going to do now. He's going to start tacking this and then weld it out. So no pressure. We are running dual shield today. We're running in at 24.5 volts. Get a tack right there. Don't tack that. Just, if you gotta hold it up a little bit, that's fine.
What?
Pushing it right to the edge, aren't you? Remember, start back here, let it fill in, and then don't get in a hurry. This one could run a little different because of the bevel. If you hang in one spot too long, it's gonna blow out. So let me get my hood and I'll watch you. You just,
Filled up too early.
well, you were kind of wandering out of the center of the bevel too. So watch me run this one. Let it build, and then start moving. See, I'm just going outside the edges of my bevel. Once it wanders outside the edges, you know it's full. So let's make this one the top, because the seams on this one are on the bottom. Better to put the seams on the bottom.
So push this way then.
You can try dragging. There are certain situations where you'll drag, but in my opinion, you're better off pushing. But try it. If you want to try it, try it. Okay, hold on. You can't put your nozzle at this angle. You need it, yes, like that. Okay, keep it right in the middle. There you go. Get a little closer. Your arc length's way too long. Okay, that was a lot better. That looks 10 times better. You quit a little premature. Okay. You probably could have brought that. See how there's a little corner right here now? Right there. See that?
Yeah.
There's a void. That's because you didn't wrap your corner quite enough.
Okay.
If you'd have gone half a second longer and brought it to here, even if it's a little humped up, take the grinder, knock that hump off, and then it looks great.
Okay.
Well, I'll be dipped. Okay, so I want to show you guys the progress Bridger's made. I'd say that's pretty dang good. We did talk to him about his finish, but that's just one of those things that with hood time, he'll get better at. Other than that start and stop, that's looking pretty dang good. It's getting better. Another 20,000 hours under the hood, you'll be right there. We're not going to bore you to death with Bridger welding these out. Once he gets them welded out, we'll come back to you and we'll give you guys a look. We actually want to cut these so that they're 6 feet, because I think that's going to be about perfect, with 6 inches hanging out of either side of our A-frame. And then I can't remember what that gives us in the middle, but it's proportionate. So that's what we're going to go with. He's going to finish welding these out. I'm going to go back to the saw and finish cutting the remaining pieces for our 2 other A-frames. And I'll be working on that while he's working on this. And then when we get to that point where we're ready to start fitting those up, we'll give you guys a look. Ready? There we go. Okay. All right. What's up, guys? We're back out here tonight. We're gonna see if we can't get these knocked out. So all that's left to do on this one is take our 45 pieces and weld them in place. So I've already got them marked. I've got 2 soapstone lines on the top rail here, and then 2 soapstone lines center of our A-frame here. I've got them all laid out and everything. All I got to do is get them tacked into place. So we'll go ahead and do that right now. Once I get this all tacked up, we'll probably jump into time lapse and I'll go ahead and start welding them out. I thought I was gonna have Bridger out here tonight, but he's got other stuff going on. He's probably chasing wild women or something. So we'll be on our own tonight, so I'll see what I can get done. Okay, so one thing that I do want to check, just because I'm curious, if the inside of our forks are 28, that's going to be perfect. I wanted these cross members to be close enough together that I could fit my forks through those, because the other way that you move these around constantly is right here. And sometimes it's tough when it doesn't fit just right. Yes, you can adjust your forks, but I typically leave my forks one of 2 ways. And so instead of having to get out of the forklift, adjust the forks, it'd be nice if they just slide right in there according to how I just always leave them. So I'm gonna check the measurement, but I think it's gonna work out perfect because I'll be able to get the forks through here. And then, like I said before, a fork fits perfect in this top rail. So I'm gonna go over and check that now and just make sure. But now that this is fit up, I'm gonna start welding it out. So we'll go into time-lapse mode, and we'll do that now, and probably get that other one fit up as well, since you've already seen how I do it. I'll get it fit up, I'll get them welded out, and then we'll come back and give you guys a look. Okay, so I can pick these up just like this and move them wherever I need to, for one, which makes it really nice. Just drive them around. Actually, I'm gonna set them down like this. And then I'll show you how else I like to pick them up and why I like this design. Okay, so where my forks are sitting, they should fit perfectly in that triangle open section in between the cross members. Just like that. Okay. So then I can pick them up like this and move them where I need to. Now here's the other reason this is a really nice feature. Let's say you're working on a trailer or something like that that's 16 feet long. Okay, so I'll drive forward, I'll tilt my forks, I drop the first one, and then I'll drive back to where I need to, drop my second one, and then I don't have to move them all over the shop. So hopefully you guys can see why that's such a huge benefit. Okay, so I also wanted to show you guys what they look like. So this surface is almost perfectly flat. And that is also really nice when you're working on a trailer or something. You want your workpiece to be sitting flat on whatever you're working on, so it's not teetering, it's not rocking. It just makes it easier to level and square and all those things. Pretty happy with that. All right, guys, so I think that's gonna finish up our sawhorse project. If I didn't mention it already, part of the reason that we needed to get these built is because, so I've wanted to get these done for quite a while, but I did send a rather large bid out today for a large project, and if we get this bid, we're gonna need these for sure. So I figured I don't wanna wait until I absolutely need them. I'd rather get them done now and have them in case I do get the bid. It's gonna be handy to have them for all sorts of other things in the shop. We've actually used them for one or two other things in the shop tonight, just having them sitting here. So it'll be nice to have them. It's nice getting your work up off the floor, not having to bend over. Every fab shop I've ever been in, they always have a good set of steel sawhorses. You'd be amazed at how much weight this type of sawhorse can hold. I mean, we're talking thousands and thousands of pounds. So it's just, this is one of those things that we've needed for a while. So I'm glad to have got it done. It's gonna be a good addition to our arsenal. So I'm extremely happy with how Bridger performed on this project. I think he did a really good job. I think he learned a lot. And I think his skill level from the time he started this project and the welds that he was putting out at the end are definitely better. So he's progressed a lot. Now all he needs is some more hood time. All that's left to do is, I feel the need
for speed.
Ow! Thanks for watching. Pretty much every other job that I've been at, I've had a goodness. We've got a piece of 3x6. So now we're going to pull a 3x6. So now we're going to lay out our measurement for three. So now we're going to pull. What are we pulling? So now we're going to lay out our slots for our 3x6 rec tube so that Bridger can start torch cutting these so that we can. All right, we're going to use our needle scale. Hey, what you doing? Stink. What you doing? Huh? You being a good boy? Hey, are you being a good boy? Give me a hug. Give me a hug. Stink. Did you miss me?
Here, Dad got a ball for you. This is the only way I got him to come out here.
I'll be dipped.
What's a Conway
What?
twin? Yeah, I heard that in a bunch of songs, but I don't know what that is.
I have failed as a parent.
What is it?
Judas. I cannot believe my ears. This is going straight in the bloopers.
What is that? What is it?
I what?
It's in the song Honeybee by...
So you don't know what Conway Twitty is.
No, is it like a band?
It's a person. It's pretty much like not knowing who Johnny Cash is.
What?
Yeah.
But that's like way different because I know who Johnny Cash is, but I don't know who this is. Is it a girl?
No.
Who is it?
It's Conway Twitty.
I've never heard of them before.
You've never heard of him?
Him before.
I threw a bid out. I sent a bid out today for, goodness. Part of the reason that we needed to get these done, goodness. Okay.